What's up, Deadheads? It's Brian Castrell, and I just watched Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 4, titled King County. And if you've been a Walking Dead from the beginning, you already know where we are going. Now, I make no bones about it. As a Walking Dead fan from the beginning, I have my two favorite episodes are Days Gone By and Clear. Now, those episodes, in my opinion, are perfect. The very emotional, very well acted, story driven, and just absolutely amazing. Now, the Walking Dead universe has had so many great episodes in their history, so many great writers behind them, but every now and then they drop a gem on us, and Fear the Walking Dead just dropped a gem with King County. Lenny James and Karen David put on an acting clinic in this episode, and Austin Amilo and Kristen Evangelista played great supporting roles in this episode. I love them all, and King County was so good. But let's talk about it. Now, obviously, we are going back to King County, where it all started with The Walking Dead, and we see Morgan right in the beginning with the perfect shot, just walking over a knocked over King County sign. You see the roads are full of vegetation. Everything is kind of going back to the wild, and it was just a perfect shot. And then you finally see Morgan. We see the house that we saw right from the beginning, King County, bringing back all kinds of feels from that very first episode of Days Gone By. And like I said, that episode was perfect. I absolutely love it. I would not have changed a thing. But of course, that brings back so many memories of Dwayne and what Morgan has been through. And I will say right from the beginning of that episode that, well, actually not from that episode, but once we got to Clear and Morgan was just in his clear mode, in my opinion, he was kind of crazy. I always said he wasn't lucid. He just wasn't with it. And I don't think he remembered correctly. And I've said that for a long time, which is why I always felt that Dwayne had survived and that someday we were going to see him again. Remember the rule, no body, then it's possible they could be around. Well, this episode, the story was so good. Lenny, when he was walking up to this house, literally this moment just kind of brought chills back to that moment. And we start hearing Dwayne cry for his daddy and just call out for him. And this just brings back Morgan to when he just could not he could not go in. He could not bring himself because of all the bad memories that he had. And he runs away from the house because he just could not face us. And this was Morgan's whole thing throughout the entire universe. And I've always said that Morgan Jones is quite possibly the most important character in the Walking Dead universe when you consider everything that he is connected to, everything that he's done, who he saved, and just he is an amazing character. Lenny James is an incredible actor. But he walks away and he comes back past these walkers, or carrion now in Fear the Walking Dead, that he saw before, and they were eating a skunk. And this is classic Lenny James. And this scene taking out these walkers was just badass. And he's trying to fight the urge to not give up. But you hear him just kind of going over, I can do this, and just kind of and killing these walkers all in the process. It was just an amazing scene. And then we finally come across and we see he finds Grace, and he's talking with Grace, and she says that he left a message, and he's like, I didn't leave no message. Unless someone followed me, nobody knows I'm here. And then they find Mo in the back, and we've learned that and this girl is just too smart for her own good, because she was the one who left the message based on what we saw in that swamp when Madison, helped save her. And how it said Jenny and Dwayne and everything on that wall. So she figured this out and sent those messages out, which is how Grace rather was able to follow him, and then she was able to get in the truck and kind of hide out. But this girl is too smart for her own good, and I just love. And she was so good in this episode too. And then right on cue, here comes Dwight and Sherry, and they find out, and we learn from Dwight, that Dwight said 7 years ago that Morgan sold him out. And he, of course, is upset. And, his son, Finch, is on the line. He's with Padre, and excuse me, but and they're working for Padre, and they're basically saying, Morgan, we're going to take you back. We're doing this for our son, but we need to know why you were here. And he says, he's here for his son, to help bury it, put him to rest, but they don't really believe him, and Padre doesn't believe him. So, and they're ordered to basically, take Morgan in. But Morgan eventually, he ends up running away. He gets away from them, and they go into the house, and they see the Clear, all that writing that we saw back in the Clear episode, but it was in the house, and they're seeing this. And this episode was so good, I had to take notes, so I keep looking at that just to remind me, because so many great details in this episode. But so they eventually go into this house. They see all the Clear, and they're asking about him, and Morgan's basically saying, this is all a blur. I don't remember coming back and writing this stuff in there, and it just doesn't make sense to him. One scene that I really like is, now Morgan, he's smelling like skunk because of those walkers that he fought and killed, and he put tomato juice in, because that's a way to kind of mask the skunk. And he's talking to Mo about this, and he brings up a story, and this was such a heartwarming moment between him and his daughter Mo, and he's just starting to bond with her, and he's telling her how Dwayne had this dog that always followed him around, and it got into a skunk, and then Dwayne put all the tomato juice, and he got it out of him, and then after that he wouldn't touch the stuff. It was just like a really cute moment between the two. Now we see it's getting time for night, and Grace is trying to tell him that he needs to let it go. You don't have to do this. We are here in the now. That is the past. And Morgan's like, no, I have to do this. This is why I came here. This is my son. That's my wife. I need to bury them. I need to finish what I started. But then Dwight and Sherry, they're trying to force him out, and basically sending burn walkers. And at this moment, like, I'm really getting annoyed with Dwight and Sherry, and it's bringing me back to the feels of when Dwight was with the Sanctuary, and what he was doing to Daryl, and just the character. Now, ultimately, we learned that Dwight had no choice in the matter. He was doing this to protect his, Sherry, and this time they're doing it to protect, their son Finch, which I get it. And as we learn Dwight, why he did it, it made sense, but it does not change the fact in this episode they were frustrating me, and they were getting on my nerves, and I was starting to get upset with them. But I get their side, where they were coming from. But they're helping Padre, because of course Padre has Finch. Now, while they're in the house, we hear Rick Grimes' name dropped, because Morgan picks up the rifle that Rick Grimes, and he's telling Grace all about this. And we even saw a cool shot, like where he's picking up the gun, and it was literally looked just like the shot when he was trying to shoot his wife Jenny in that first episode. And as you're looking through this house, they did a great job of making this look just like the house from that first episode, Days Gone By. And as he's shooting, he sees Jenny. And through this episode, Jenny keeps popping up, because if you remember, he wasn't able to shoot her as a walker. And that was what, eventually caused Dwayne's to die, as he was saying, because his wife came up, and he couldn't overcome that and shoot her and protect his son. So we're going through this, and he keeps seeing, Jenny, and he can't shoot her. But then another cute scene, Mo finds a photo album of Dwayne and Jenny, and just kind of continues the bonding. This was, a beautiful moment as well. And then Grace and Morgan are talking, and they're saying how they got to get out of there and talk about their plan, and they eventually kiss. And this was just funny because Mo, she was like, well, Morgan's like, you haven't been around kissing. She was like, what was that? And she's like, yeah, I don't like it. Let's just go. But it was just so funny. It was a cute moment. Just a well played out scene. I absolutely love that moment. Now, eventually, Dwight and Sherry and the two other guards from Padre catch up with them, and they're asking, Morgan, why are you here? And they don't believe him. They're basically calling him a liar, saying he's not here for his son, but they're willing to bring him to this, the room where he believes that he, where Dwayne is. And, they go in there, and it's not Dwayne, it's some other walker, but Jenny is in there on the ground, but they kill him. They kill that walker, and then they're continuing to antagonize Morgan, saying, he's a liar, and if you don't tell us, we're going to kill you. Eventually, it looked like Morgan was going to turn into Clear, and he's like, puts the gun to his head. He was just like with Rick. He wanted to die in that moment, because he thought, Dwayne was in there. And I, like I said, I've been saying that Dwayne is alive. But eventually, Dwight comes around, and he takes out the guards, and he basically tells Shrike, let me talk to my son, just to make sure he's okay. And then he tells Finch that something that he taught him, and he basically ends up knocking Shrike out, which was a great scene. And then he tells him, there's a boat coming in 20 minutes. Make sure you get on that and meet us at the pier. We're going to be there. And so they basically take off, and then finally, excuse me. But then there's a scene where, Grace and Morgan and little Mo, they're sitting on top of the burnt house. They just buried Dwayne. I'm sorry. They didn't bury Dwayne, because in that fire, as they're trying to capture this is Morgan's coming back, and this is after the kiss, and he's coming to help save him. And then we learn that Grace is actually sick, and she was kind of keeping that from him. So Morgan's going out. He's going to basically go save her, and the building's on fire. The house is on fire, and Morgan's telling her go upstairs, and then she finds Dwayne. So Dwayne is officially dead, but I still stand by Dwayne lives, because what we learn in this, but I'm going to come to this in a second, but I'm going to still say Dwayne lives, because Mo almost dies from Dwayne, and the building is coming down. She gets trapped, and then Morgan's coming up the stairs. He's about to shoot, and he can't. He just can't bring himself to it. And this is why he died. Like, Morgan knows this is why he died, because and now his daughter is about to fall into the same thing. But eventually he gets over that, and he saves Mo. And this is why I'm saying Dwayne lives now, but he lives in a good memory with Morgan, because Morgan was able to overcome that to help save his daughter. So Morgan actually put the past behind him, and now he can, go forward with this, and Dwayne can be more of a good memory. So I think when I say Dwayne lives, it's more of a metaphorical thing, and he lives within Morgan, but it's no longer a crutch to him. And then we got this scene where they just buried Dwayne and Jenny, and it's a really somber scene. But then Mo's sitting on the top of the burned house, and she finds the photo album again, and she's talking. This is a beautiful moment. Then all of a sudden, whoa! The fucking walker jumps out of the thing, and I swear to God, I jumped so fuck you, Fear the Walking Dead. But it scared the fuck out of me. And then Grace goes to save little Mo, and then she gets bit. Holy shit. And then we and that was just like, oh my goodness. And then finally we see Dwight and Sherry, and their son comes up and they catch him, but now Padre's coming in, and here comes Morgan like he's Rambo, taking everybody out. But they're on their way to find Madison and June, so June can help save Grace. I don't feel good about this. I don't understand how Finch is alive anyways. So a lot of information has got to probably be revealed in these upcoming episodes, but whoa. Fear the Walking Dead, you just dropped a gem. Lenny James and Karen David literally put on a clinic in this episode, and I absolutely love it. This is by far one of my favorite Fear the Walking Dead episodes of all time. It was beautiful. It was story driven. It was well acted. They got all the details correct from Days Gone By and stuff from Clear, and I love it. So absolutely love this episode. Did you guys love it as much as I did? What were your takes on it? And what were your favorite scenes? Mine were definitely when Mo did not like the kiss. I thought that was great. And also when you scared the fuck out of me with that walker jumping out. But yep, love you guys for watching. As always, thank you. I love and appreciate you guys. Until next episode, I'll see you then. Love you guys.